I have no idea, but I'm willing to see what's behind door number 3. I'm willing to make a change for change's sake. Because what I've gotten over the last 4 games with Dillon Gabriel is a guy that I have serious questions about whether or not he's an NFL quarterback. Seriously.
So what does Kevin Stefanski want out of this?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out whether or not Kevin Stefanski wants to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Because to continue to stay the course with Dillon Gabriel based on the body of work that we've gotten just doesn't make any sense to me. It's nonsensical. Dillon Gabriel is absolutely off.
He is now saying, over my dead body will Shedeur get a shot. This is all-time shameful on the part of Kevin Stefanski. He won't even speak Shedeur's name in these interview sessions. There's just a principle involved here where at least you acknowledge that by default, Flacco is now gone. Shedeur moved up a slot. He's second on the depth chart. This was Kevin Stefanski pretty much declaring public war on Shedeur. I guarantee you Bailey Zappi is now, and they're not putting it up on the website. I guarantee he'll dress at Pittsburgh and he will be second in command.
Picture this. ESPN turns into a full-blown roast session and Chris Canty walks in swinging like he's been waiting for this moment all season. He doesn't just criticize Kevin Stefanski, he annihilates him. Like a coach-shaped piñata packed with bad play calls and wasted timeouts. And all because Stefanski can't stop throwing shade at Shedeur Sanders. Now the whole league's watching Cleveland like it's the NFL's version of reality TV, unpredictable, messy, and impossible to turn off. What pushed Canty over the edge this time?
I'll say it for you. I'll say it for you. Either these are made-up injuries, or somebody don't want him to play, or he doesn't want to play. I don't know.
So Shedeur is back on the field today for the Browns, and now the story is, does he want to play? How does he have these mysterious injuries and he's not getting any reps or taking any hits? So if it sounds weird, guys, it probably is. In college, his sack rate was 8.64%. That means that out of 100 throws, he got sacked almost.
Simple. Frustration hit its boiling point. Cleveland found a new way to look lost, and Chris Canty showed up ready for damage control. Except this wasn't therapy. This was scorched earth. Every sentence came with heat. Every take hit like a highlight reel of bad decisions on repeat. Cleveland just cannot catch a break. Every time it looks like they've reached rock bottom, they grab a shovel and start digging like there's a prize down there. And this week, Canty didn't come to sugarcoat. He came for accountability. He walked into ESPN like he was hosting an intervention for Kevin Stefanski. Only instead of sympathy, he brought a flamethrower, a list of stats, and zero patience. When your best quarterback option keeps getting ignored, the optics look awful. What followed wasn't an analysis. It was a televised demolition. Because when Chris Canty goes off, it's not commentary. It's an exorcism. He looked at the Browns offense and said what everyone else has been thinking. That's not football. That's a bad sitcom in helmets. One half of the team's limping, the other's lost. And somehow Stefanski's on the sideline pretending it's fine, sipping Gatorade like it's chamomile tea. Now imagine this. Dillon Gabriel's out there tossing floaters like the football's filled with helium. Every pass looks like it needs a GPS to find the receiver. And there's Shedeur Sanders, sitting on the bench like a statue carved from pure potential, watching it all unfold.
If Shedeur Sanders is not promoted to QB2.
Why is that?
Because then all of a sudden, you start to ask all of these questions as to why. There are only 2 quarterbacks on the active roster right now. So if you don't promote him to QB2, that being Shedeur Sanders, and you decide to elevate Bailey Zappi off the practice squad, who you didn't think enough of to have on your active roster weeks ago, it makes it seem as if you have an agenda other than allowing the quarterback competition to be a meritocracy.
The fans are begging for a change. The analysts are yelling through the TV. And Stefanski's response? Focus. Focus. That's not strategy. That's avoidance dressed in coach speak. Canty couldn't take it anymore. You could see the moment his patience snapped. One second he's calm, the next he's unloading on Stefanski like he's calling plays in a thunderstorm. The studio went silent. Not out of respect, but shock. Cameras stopped panning in too close like they didn't want to catch the blast radius. And honestly, can you blame them? Cleveland's QB plan makes less sense than a riddle written during a lightning round. You've got a starter allergic to the end zone, a backup who might as well be invisible, and a coach treating the depth chart like it's a classified file. It's like Stefanski's running a reality show called The Bachelor Quarterback Edition. And Shedeur Sanders somehow didn't get the rose again. Chris Canty showed up with facts, fury, and that "I'm done pretending this is okay" energy. He called out every flaw, the inconsistency, the weird QB rotations, and Cleveland's long tradition of tripping over its own progress. The panel froze like statues because they knew he was right. This wasn't just a rant. It was therapy for every Browns fan who's watched hope turn into a highlight reel of chaos.
13,000 yards. I don't remember him sitting out for any injury for a long period of time when it comes to his college career. So how do you get to the league and all of a sudden your back hurts, your throwing arm hurts, everything just starts to break down? That's what you want us to believe. So if it sounds weird, it probably is. We all see what is happening in Colorado right now for the Buffs. You believe that jersey retirement stuff now? How do you get hit, pressured, and sacked more than any college quarterback in your draft class and then magically get to the league and then become brittle? No, pick a new story, pick a new subject, or just wait until he touches the...
Let's be real. Stefanski's press conferences sound like motivational speeches written by a lost GPS. Reporters ask about Shedeur Sanders, and he deflects harder than a goalie in panic mode. "That's not my focus," he says. "Not your focus? You're coaching an NFL team, not hosting a yoga retreat." The man talks like he's trying to manifest wins instead of earning them. And while Stefanski's out here turning post-game interviews into philosophy lectures, Dillon Gabriel is rewriting the entire manual on how not to play quarterback. We're talking fumbles, interceptions, safeties, intentional groundings.
When you got the optics of your best player slamming his helmet on the sideline after Gabriel goes out there and throws 2 brutal interceptions in the second half of that game that effectively seal your fate, at some point something has to change. And it boggles my mind that Kevin Stefanski is adamant about sticking with Dillon Gabriel after the bye week, after we've seen the quarterback throughout the course of his first 4 starts rank dead last in yards per pass attempt, yards per dropback, air yards per attempt, and have the second worst QBR during that span. The guy can't throw the ball down.
The kind of mistakes that make highlight editors cry into their keyboards. Every drive looks like a training drill that escaped supervision, and the next, like someone hit shuffle on a Madden playbook. If chaos was a stat, Gabriel would be leading the league. Chris Canty saw that and snapped. He flat out said Stefanski's coaching like he doesn't even want the job anymore. And honestly, he might be right. Coaching the Browns must feel like babysitting a blender. Loud, unpredictable, and guaranteed to make a mess. The man's body language screams, "Please, somebody trade me to sanity." Every press conference looks like a silent cry for help in a polo shirt. Instead of learning, Stefanski keeps doubling down on his worst decisions like it's a dare. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders came into the league ready to grind, ready to prove he's more than a last name. And what's he get? A front row seat to dysfunction. Canty wasn't holding back this time. He dragged the whole franchise through the mud and didn't use gloves. He basically said what every Browns fan has been shouting from their couch: if you're scared to let the kid play, maybe you shouldn't be coaching.
Shot. Yeah. This is it. I mean, I don't mean just this one game, but I'm saying this is his chance. Even though it looks like he's been practicing well, what we talked earlier, like it just seems like they don't want to give him the shot to really move up. Well, they have to now. And I salute them for not. I think to start Tyler Huntley in this game would have just been like, yeah, it would have either been insulting or he is just light years away from being ready to play in an NFL game. And so I'm glad he's getting a start. I said earlier, maybe he plays a half, Huntley plays. If he's playing well, he's going to play 3 quarters.
That's not criticism. That's a career alarm clock. Because when your QB room looks like a group project gone wrong, somebody's got to take accountability. But the wildest part? Cleveland's still pretending it's all fine. They're juggling quarterbacks like it's a clearance sale. Traded for one, cut another, promoted Shedeur, then acted like he vanished into thin air. It's a clown car of quarterbacks out there. The door swings open, and you never know who's stepping out next. If confusion were a strategy, Stefanski would be undefeated. Instead of chasing touchdowns, the Browns are chasing ego points. It's not football, it's office politics and shoulder pads. And spoiler, nobody's winning that game. Just picture that dynamic. The head coach doesn't want to play the GM's guy, so he keeps trotting out his own favorite like a stubborn dad refusing to ask for directions. Every loss becomes another "I told you so" moment waiting to happen. The The locker room's divided, the fan base is exhausted, and Chris Canty's out here turning Cleveland's dysfunction into primetime entertainment. When he said, the whole organization isn't on the same page, that wasn't shade. That was a public service announcement with ESPN graphics. Because here's the truth. You can't win games when your front office and sideline are playing tug-of-war with your franchise. It's like trying to drive a car while two people are wrestling over the steering wheel. At some point, you're not steering, you're crashing.
Seems like every day, every morning, every afternoon, every evening, there's something new to talk about. But this morning, on Unsportsmanlike, Get Up with Chris Canty, Chris Canty has some things to say about Kevin Stefanski, because basically Chris Canty has walked it back and has caught Kevin Stefanski in a red-handed lie. And he exposed him on national television for the lies that he was saying about Shedeur Sanders and the quarterback.
And let's not sugarcoat Dillon Gabriel's numbers either. His stat line reads like a horror movie in Excel form. A QBR colder than a January morning, passes missing wide open targets like he's throwing blindfolded, and turnovers so consistent they might as well count as assists for the defense. Every Sunday, Dillon Gabriel is out there making defensive coordinators look like geniuses. It's painful to watch. Fans are literally peeking through their fingers, praying the next throw doesn't land in the wrong jersey. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is sitting there frozen on the bench. No snaps, no chances, and definitely no explanation that makes sense. It's like the coaching staff's got him locked inside a break-in case of Miracle Box.
Browns again. Head coach Kevin Stefanski in the news as he announced he is giving up play calling to offensive coordinator Tommy Rees.
Hallelujah.
Now the second straight season in which Stefanski has given it up. And fellas, before I even get to the question of this, how in the world do you as a head coach of a football team call plays one year? I was unaware that this is what happened. He called plays one year, wasn't good enough to continue doing it. You have someone else call the plays, and then you're like, you know what? The next year, I'm going to hire a new OC, and I'm going to still call them joints. What are we doing? What happens?
Every time the offense falls apart, the cameras cut straight to him like, you seeing this? And he just nods, calm, composed, professional, while silently wondering what level of football purgatory he signed up for. But that frustration? He's turning it into quiet fuel. The kind that eventually explodes when the opportunity comes. Stefanski, on the other hand, looks terrified of being proven wrong, even if it means burning his own season down. That's pride on overdrive, the kind that turns decent coaches into late-night memes. And right now, Cleveland has become exactly that, a punchline with helmets. Every other team's got game plans and structure, while Cleveland's got confusion, caffeine, and chaos. Stefanski's treating his quarterback room like he's guessing a Wi-Fi password. Let's try Gabriel again. Maybe this time it'll work. Spoiler alert. It never does. The offense sputters like a car running on fumes, and the locker room's patience is running out.
Kevin is still the same coach that 2 years ago. Everybody think he sucked 2 years ago when Flacco threw for 2,000 yards when he had a receiver and a tight end who could catch the ball?
No.
So I'll go back.
Coach of the year.
And again, I'm not trying to defend Kevin. I've said all year long, you want to fire him, I'm not going to fight you. Like, there's enough evidence there. You want to fire him, fire him. I just think it runs so much deeper throughout this organization. Firing the head coach is putting a Band-Aid on a head.
That's not going to fix it.
It ain't going to fix anything.
No,
but you want to fire him, fire him.
Not firing is not going to fix it either.
But here's the thing.
No, it's not. But Bull, to Jay's point, like, we're rotten higher than...
Chris Canty made sure everyone saw through the nonsense. He called it out. Nonsensical, clunky, embarrassing. Basically the holy trinity of dysfunction. And when he finished that rant, even the studio lights looked dimmer, like they'd had enough too. No one wanted to speak after him, because when someone burns the house down that hard, there's just ashes left to analyze. Meanwhile, Browns fans were at home nodding like, finally, someone said it. Because this isn't new. This is Cleveland's brand. A rinse and repeat cycle of hype, heartbreak, and head-scratching decisions that would have gotten most franchises rebooted years ago. Canty didn't sugarcoat a thing. No polite TV tone, no PR spin, just raw truth. He spoke like a man tired of watching mediocrity masquerade as strategy. You could almost hear Browns fans getting shirts printed with his face on them that say, finally, someone gets it. Because they do. They're done with excuses. What's wild is how simple the fix really is. Start Shedeur Sanders. Give the kid a real chance. Let him sink or swim. Anything's better than drowning in denial week after week. But Stefanski acts like putting Shedeur in would unleash a curse. Newsflash. The only curse is his play calling. Every week it's the same cycle. Hope, confusion, meltdown, repeat. Canty even hinted that Stefanski might be mentally checked out, still cashing paychecks but already halfway packed for his next coordinator job. And honestly, who could blame him? Coaching the Browns is like trying to assemble IKEA furniture with missing screws, frustrating, endless, and guaranteed to end in shouting.
Kevin Stefanski put this narrative out there during training camp and practice that they want to bring all the rookies along. They want to bring everybody along. They want to groom everybody. They want to keep everybody up to speed. A lot of people have noted everything that Kevin Stefanski has said dealing with Shedeur Sanders involving this quarterback situation in Cleveland. A lot of people have put their notes down. They listen to everything that Kevin Stefanski says, because now some of the things that Kevin Stefanski had said, now he's being caught up in his own.
But here's the thing. If you're going to stay, build something. Don't just stare at the box and call it leadership. The team's got talent. The fans have faith left. Barely. He's probably somewhere in the building right now, staring at this circus and wondering if he's on a hidden camera show. You draft Shedeur Sanders, sell the dream of a bright new era, and then your coach treats him like a myth from campfire stories. Chris Canty didn't just rant. He exposed it all. The politics, the poor planning, the excuses that have been piling up like penalty flags. It wasn't analysis. It was a full-blown performance piece titled, How Not to Run a Football Team. If the Browns ever need a documentary, ESPN could just replay that segment and call it The Cleveland Way. But let's be real. This isn't just a Cleveland problem. Every league's got that one team stuck in their own drama. But the Browns? They do it with style. Loud, messy, and unforgettable. Watching Canty call them out was like watching someone finally flip the dinner table after years of fake smile. Plates flying, truths landing. And every second of it was necessary. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about one quarterback or one game. It's about accountability. It's about a coach finally owning his decisions instead of hiding behind vague focus talk. It's about letting your young star shine instead of keeping him chained to the bench. Cleveland doesn't need another excuse. It needs action, and Canty made that message impossible to ignore. The ripple effect was instant. Fans started trending Shedeur Sanders' name like it was a rally cry. Analysts jumped in with takes of their own. Even former players began hinting. Maybe, just maybe, Cleveland's biggest enemy is itself. It's crazy how one perfectly aimed rant can shake an entire franchise. It wasn't anger, it was tough love, ESPN style. Every word hit like a linebacker's tackle. It was every ex-player watching wasted talent and finally saying, enough is enough. Canty gave a voice to the frustration that's been bubbling under the surface for years, and when he finished, it felt like someone finally said what every Browns fan's been yelling at their TV. So now the question is, where does Cleveland go from here? Either they wake up, hand Shedeur Sanders the keys, and finally give the fans something real to believe in.
This does look better. What does it say about Kevin and all that kind of stuff?
So if we make this switch now again for the second year in a row, and this time it's different, and Tommy Rees takes over play calling, and all of a sudden the offense, I'm talking like noticeably different. Like it feels like we're watching a different team than we watched the first half of the season. For me, that would be kind of an indictment on Kevin that one guy can step in here and make that big of a difference to the offense, that you are the one that, like, you're the offensive guy. This is your system. This is your program. You brought it in here. You're supposed to be the offensive head coach, which, by the way, how do you feel about him having to give it up 2 years in a row? Because I can't think of another offensive head coach who's had to give up play calling to.
Or they keep pretending everything's fine until even the scoreboard starts laughing. Because if this keeps up, Stefanski won't have to worry about focus anymore. He'll have all the time in the world to meditate. At home. The truth is, Shedeur Sanders deserves better. Better than politics, better than excuses, better than watching incompetence steal his reps week after week. The kid's got the skill, the calm, the fire. All he needs is a coach who believes that potential belongs on the field, not on the sidelines. Chris Canty saw it before anyone else. He turned the spotlight to where it actually belonged, not on the rookie learning the ropes, but on the coach tripping over them. And in doing so, he might have changed the whole conversation in Cleveland. Because once the world's laughing at your dysfunction, you only get two choices. Fix it or become the punchline forever. And let's be honest, Cleveland's been the punchline for way too long. Maybe this time, someone in that locker room finally takes the joke personally. So what do you think, Cleveland fans? Has the message finally sunk in? Will Shedeur Sanders get his shot? Or are we about to see another rerun of the same heartbreak saga? Drop your thoughts down below. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you're ready to see Cleveland finally flip the script once and for all.